Yeah, D-Man, this is the new, the Year Zero shirt. From the Wayback Machine. There, fuzzball. Come to the snuggling chair. Cat's still freaking out. He's freaking out even more on the outside. 'Cause now, not only is there the generator, but then there's a bunch of my loud, rowdy neighbors watching the TV outside that they've got there. So, yeah. D-Man. I don't know. That's a good idea.
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. The mic volume, it's coming out pretty overblown, but I can hear you.
Let me... Are you in Skype?
I have Skype. I'm not in it right now.
Do you want me to get in Skype instead? Because I haven't changed settings. It should be fine in that.
Yeah, that would work.
I'm not... Okay, let's do that.
Open mic. Open microphone. Hey, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, sweet. It's easier anyway. I like the game chat, but the proximity kind of sucks. I mean, it can be annoying.
Yeah. It's cleaner in H1Z1. I wonder if they're just using a different codec or what's going on.
Possibly, man. Who knows? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Hey, so do you have your light armor on? Take off your light armor. Yeah.
Always with the light armor.
Yeah, I've got some too now. Cold Knight was saying that I should use that setup, so I've got some as well. And yeah, it's nice when you don't have any light orbs. Except that I always have a ton of those.
Well, do you also use the extra light items to push it up to 125 or whatever it is? Damn it, that's the same one. I'm like trying to take it off and put something else. And I was like, no, I've just got two of the same suit.
Yeah, I push it up so it's so you get all the buffs from it and the things stack and whatever. So this is very, very, very early build. I expect this to take probably 3 or 4 months. It's going to be 8 or 9 claims. Like we discussed before, I'm going to go for a darker kind of the cyberpunk theme-ish. So this is what I've got started so far. My newest edition is behind you. I'm really happy with this.
That's awesome.
But the flickering light, I mean, it's kind of random. I mean, it's not perfectly random, obviously, but I threw a white light in there, and it triggers well enough that I think it gives kind of a, you know, a shorted out effect.
Yeah, that's really neat.
And it's open on the other side, so I can charge copper for advertising.
Yeah, I saw that on the other side. Actually, it was just kind of an open billboard.
I might actually I might create a landmark painting, with the logo, and then just paint dirt and stuff, and maybe paint a little building, and put it on the other side. But
Well, we already have the landmark inlay that somebody did months and months ago. If you don't have it, I can give it to you.
yeah, I've got it. I'm just not sure if it's too big. I might have to recreate it and scale it down. I mean, I made the poster pretty big, but
I think it fits. I think looking at it right here, yeah, I'm pretty sure you've got enough room.
okay.
Neat.
So basically, this, when I started this was going to start out to be a landing pad for a base. Of course, it's kind of morphed, and so now this is a landing pad for random visitors, just random. It's a random landing pad, and the building will also have one attached to it. I'm not done with the outside by any stretch, and the top floor is pretty naked right now. But I'm going to build a little cafe off to the side over here, and the end.
Oh, you cut out.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Yeah, I think there's I don't know, man, maybe something goofy with my mic, but it's weird. Whenever I stand in this area over here, my mic cuts out. But we're not in game. Yeah, like whenever I'm over here.
Oh, I think it's your internet chugging because it's trying to load some stuff.
I don't have anything going on except your stream.
Ah,
Let me turn that off. So, this is the basically the entrance, right? And when we get inside, there's going to be maybe little shops, and that goes pretty quick. So, the hallway is not detailed yet. I mean, the rooms aren't filled out in there. I've been working on it upstairs. So basically, the way this works is there's 3 stories. I've got 3 candles. The first one will turn on the transporter for the first level, the second one for the second, and the third for the third. The third is going to be the penthouse. That's where the 5th apartment will be. The first floor and second floor both have 2 apartments each. One is slightly larger than the other one. So it's basically 3 different apartment styles. And the first one is pretty much, the first floor at least is done. The inside of the apartments aren't done. I'll do those later on, but I want to get more of the city kind of fleshed out because you know how it is. It's like when you're making stuff, it starts to grow itself. It starts to take on its own life, and the build itself starts to give you direction. It's weird how it does that. And so I want to get like a road laid out on the other side of the platform or the long walkway. I want to get a road laid out and then start kind of laying out where I'm going to put other buildings and stuff, and then types of buildings. So the way this works is when you click the button, it's going to turn on the transporter. It doesn't work right now. It'll shut off all the lights in here. All the lights will go blue. When all the lights go blue, that's when it's time to get in.
oh, that's neat.
And this is, let's go down. Did we hit first or second? We're on second floor.
Yeah.
Let's go back down to first.
Very cool.
Okay. So this is not completely detailed out, but it's to a place where I'm happy with it. Those are obviously the apartment doors. I'm still trying to find a place to put unit numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't think about that until after I got the front all kind of made up. And the one place that it would fit, I don't want to remove, and that's that orange triangle. I really like that shape. So same thing as before. You click the button and the rug's open, and then this one I have shutters on here, so
Nice.
you can see outside, and it'll be it's kind of cool. But for this stuff though, I'm testing the rugs right now because right now the rugs are. I sent a tweet to Dave, but in the vertical moving position, they're resetting after morning reset, or sometimes just logging in. The horizontal moving rugs are staying put because all my doors like this stay put. But these windows in that first door to the complex, they always do weird stuff.
They still migrate. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. And so these, I use this stuff to help keep on top of the testing on that, because I know they've been working on it, and I know that we're not going to get sliding sci-fi door rugs or sci-fi doors until this rug is fixed. But I know that they've been working on it because this rug used to have a static animation. And what I mean by that is that when you opened or you put the rug, you moved it, when you turned it on and it moved, regardless of the size, it was the exact same movement distance. They've recently changed that. Now the movement scales with the size of the rug.
Really? I always remembered it scaling with the size of the rug.
No, it didn't. Because if you remember early on, if you would, the first time I placed a rug, it shot halfway across the room. And I remember that thought, and I was like, why is that thing shooting like 15 voxels past my opening? And it doesn't do that anymore. Huh. And if you take a rug outside and you make a small one and you make a large one, and then turn them on and off, you'll see that it's scaling. But outside of that, not just a couple months ago, or maybe, when I was working on the Juggernaut, making the rug super large, it was actually, the movement wasn't enough. The animation wasn't enough to even completely tuck the rug in. Okay, and so I know that the animation has changed, and I know they've been working on it. But I think that's why. I'd asked Dave about sliding doors maybe at the beginning of January, and that just asking for one of these retextured. And his thing was, he was like, man, trust me, I want a sliding sci-fi door as well. But until they get this one fixed, they're not going to, bring those in game, and it makes sense. If you're going to use this animation for other things, it needs to be locked down and it needs to work right. So, whatever.
Yeah, basically, I think of in programming terms, you got to fix the class first before you start making more instances from it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so that's just all we're waiting on. But outside here, I've got a. Well, let me see can you guess what this is? This thing right here?
It looks like either like a newspaper vending machine or like a console, like a holographic communication console or something like that.
Well, exactly. It's more of a communication device. I've got a mailbox embedded in the top, so the idea is that you can. I'm trying to make a mail icon up here with that white Lumicite, but getting the triangles, that top triangle, to be larger, and it's like a mail icon is kind of difficult. So yeah, basically communication device. You can send mail to people in game or whatever, and that exists on all 3 floors. So let's see.
I'm wondering if there's a different part of the mailbox that you could have protruding that makes it a little bit a little more obvious. Like if you turn it upside down, how does that look?
Oops. The thing is man, I've gone over the mailbox in a million ways. The only way it looks cool is to have that little tab sticking up, but nobody ever sees it. The rusty tab.
Oh, I see. Okay, so if you have enough clearance, what you do is scale the thing up as big as you can and have that rusty tab like a really big piece rather than a teeny little piece, embedded in the wall as best as possible so it's fully hidden, except for that little piece. And then build another thing with it so it looks like it's the lever to something that you open up. Moran, hey. By the way, I didn't say hello, Katavari. How are you doing?
Holy crap, this thing gets huge.
Yeah.
Jeez, I never scaled it that big. I'll have to change the outside of the building because I know this thing's going to stick out.
Or you could even make it upside down with the thing protruding out. But however, you get the point. It's a different way. I know you were looking at the micro scale, and it's definitely not wrong to do. But if that's just the piece you want, just blow it out of proportion and hide the rest. That's
That's cool. That gives me some ideas. I might just make a bigger base for it,
There you
like
go.
something that almost takes up this diamond plate, and then try to get it embedded to where it's more up front. Um, so let's see. So yeah, above us we've got some air conditioning ducts. I'm still playing with the light. That's not complete.
Nice microwave.
It's not a microwave. It's an air conditioning duct.
Actually, the rotation on it is ever so slightly off, and that's why I tell it's a microwave attached and not a. If you look at it from down here, you can see
it is. Yeah.
just ever so slightly. That's the one thing. It's like just a little break like that. It's like, oh wait, I know what you did to make that.
Well, their snapping isn't perfect.
Yeah, I know.
Their snap, and especially on the, because I'm picky about that stuff, but especially on the 90-degree elbow pipe, you cannot get that thing to be perfectly straight up and down, because when you do, it kicks back over into its normal state when you get it right on that line. Yeah, that thing's been like that for months.
I mean, I don't use tweak mode when I'm trying to get the rotation of something the first time. I actually try to do it in the non-tweak, just the standard placement settings. Because you
I do too.
Yeah, the kind of rough.
Yeah, I do too.
angles.
But that like I said, that elbow pipe, man, it's been goofy for a long time. So
one other thing you can do is use a voxel, a single voxel or a line of voxels or something, and use that to rotate, because the voxels will snap, especially a 1x1
Yeah.
by 1.
yeah, I do that sometimes when I'm laying out the same thing over and over. I'll make a template, a quick template of the prop attached to a voxel. That way you can snap it to the grid. Especially like in the Juggernaut when I had or the Dreadnought when I had that row of pipes on the ground for the storage area. Where you push the crates. Same thing on that. Just made a voxels, made my pipe small, and copy pasted a million times. So this room is a little bit smaller than the other one. This will be more of like an efficiency, or a studio.
Okay. With nice mountain-facing window.
Yep. Yeah, this guy, he's got the cheap rent, but he's got a nice view of the ocean. So.
Okay, no, here's what you do. For this one, instead
Board up
of having this window, just put a painting, like one of the nature paintings or something there. So it's like, yeah, I didn't get a window, but I got this fancy painting at least.
And just kind of put it up crooked, like it's over the window, kind of.
Well, either that or actually having it embedded in the window, so it's like, when I first looked at the place, like, oh, I get a nice view of the outside, I get a nice view of the forest, and
That's a good idea. In this area, I really like this room, but if you look up and see the lights, that's kind of what the lights will look like in the other rooms. They've just got
I like it.
Yeah, it's just a weird shape it came up with, and just bury the light in it, and it kind of works like a little lamp. And I think I'm using an orange light in here. I'm using yellow and orange lights mostly. I really like the yellow light. The white light to me is a little too sterile. Actually, if you take white and orange and blend them at the same size, it's about the perfect balance of color temperature for light and game for me.
Nice. Sure, that's pretty cool.
So, and then I got a little smoking station over here. This is just for like people come in, they're waiting for their buddy or whatever,
Yeah, you do. That works. Can you make the voxels in the center like obsidian or something?
This is a
It's a cap, I know.
well, but it's no, the voxels are on the even number, so that's four on a grid basically.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so you can't place anything in the middle. I'll have to get a prop or something and put it in the middle.
Probably one of
'Cause I
the
don't
metal
think-
pots would work even.
Yeah, I could do a metal pot. I wanted to make, if I could, man, if you could get a microvoxel to, I don't have to see if I could, I could maybe use an offset, But I was thinking about getting a really small microvoxel and an offset, and then trying to make an actual cigarette, and have it laid there
Dude,
somewhere.
in like 50 years, nobody's gonna be smoking, paper wrapped tobacco. So just make an e-cig. It's like if someone's actually gonna be smoking something for that, they're smoking a cigar. They know what they're getting into. That's just my, they're still gonna be the billion trillion dollar business managers are like, yes, I've got to have my cigar and my whiskey. Otherwise, no deal.
So
I like the font that you have on that sign there.
in a cafe.
Yeah.
Can you guess what the A is? Paying homage to?
It kind of looks like the stompy machines from Tron,
Exactly.
but it also looks like the Hebrew letter Chai a little bit, or actually it kind of has the shape of a few different Hebrew letters. It's not quite the form of any one of them, but pretty close to a lot of them. None, actually, I think is what I was thinking of. A few of them.
Yeah, the signs are. I can't wait for us to get player-made props, man. And this is kind of cool when I turn the lights off. Got them set up to. If we had a little sound, I'd make a little chunk chunk sound.
Yeah.
For a switch every time when they're going off. And so the idea is, and then I've got a secret entrance behind the waterfall to my workshop, and a giant system of cave tunnels. But over here is where I'll start making, or where I'll place the majority of the city, basically. So I want to try and basically have a main road. This section here, where this mountain is, it'll probably get torn down to a degree, and I want to have a road going around. So basically, you could basically loop it, walk around in circles if you want to make it feel a little bit bigger. And I'm going to try to build the buildings, not skyscrapers, obviously, but like a tall apartment, something you might see in, I don't know, just old cities, Los Angeles or New York.
Yeah.
And, so I'm going to try to make the buildings look more old style with all their own different styles, but at the same time do that cyberpunk thing where you're throwing in some sci-fi elements, and then, like you said before, a ton of neon signs. I've just got to be careful with that stuff because you go overboard with Lumicite and builds start to look pretty bad.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of dim Lumicite, not a lot of the bright stuff. The brightest of Lumicite, it's the bright Lumicite you would use specifically to show a place that's really fancy, but then some of them are dimmer and maybe one or two of them are out. Most of them is going to be the dim Lumicite, and they're going to be out in different spots because or if we get some sort of a flickering we could do later on. And that's another thing, is I could see doing stuff where instead of actually using Lumicite, you actually use voxel glass, and then hit it with the spotlights to give it different looks, to make it flicker, to make it have like a chromatic kind of shifting color to it. But again, that's a lot of impact from light, so
Yeah, and I'm trying to be careful with that. When I've visited other large claims, just between, and I don't know. To me, the jury's still out on it, on whether or not microvoxels impact performance. Some people say they don't, and some people say they do.
Macro voxels, I don't think harm performance. Things where it's larger than the normal space. I would say microvoxels, though, the ability to create holes in what should otherwise be a solid volume. That's where the effect of microvoxeling really starts to take effect. I remember going way back. Serial had a giant structure that he made of all microvoxels, like almost looked like a rocket ship launch tower or something, and it would always break. Like when you're at the bottom, by the time you get back up to the top, the voxels would break because it was so much stuff that it was trying to deal with. It was like, screw it, we've got to just kind of assume like a bit of the parts going with some of the other parts. It was weird, but that's one of the things I noticed. And then a lot of other places like Tenma's Ogre build had a lot of microvoxels and stuff going throughout it, and just in general had a lot of detail. But man, that thing ran like ass.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of afraid of is that with it's on one hand you want the microvoxels for the things that you can do with them, like the bridge below. That is 100% well, 99% microvoxels. The bottom's not, but the platform itself is. But between that and lights, especially light orbs, I mean, the fortunate thing about a cyberpunk build is that because it is dark and it is grungy, and I don't need a ton of light. I just need the light for the accenting and to accentuate details or things that I want to pull attention to. Mm-hmm. And then of course the Lumicite will help to a degree in that. So that's a saving grace in there. But the
main thing is lights shouldn't be that big of a deal. There's two reasons why they are. One is that almost every light that existed before the spotlights is an area light. It's a point light. Mm-hmm. It goes through everything. It doesn't really care. So it's a combination that you can't really use any lights except for the spotlights and expect any help with performance. And the other thing is, I don't know how well the culling is actually working for all of the lights that you aren't actually looking at, but it's going back to basically old school like Doom, Quake, Unreal, those sorts of things. And the idea of vis blockers, the idea of setting up an area, setting up the space in such a way that a lot of areas will occlude a lot of the other areas, and you just don't see that much of the space at any given time. It mm-hmm. requires kind of a very tight urban sort of detail to it. But if you go back and look through some of those older levels, you'll see there's some open expanses, but a lot of them have doorways or sections and other things, so you can see in a window but not too far, and there's not too many windows you can really see into to limit the amount that actually has process in the open field, but still gives you an opportunity to fire back at snipers and for people to have sniping locations. So it's that sort of stuff that I think we're going to need to kind of take in mind going forward with some of this stuff, and understand still, of course, that light is nowhere near complete. They probably have to do a full lighting 2.0 or something at some point.
Yeah.
Not only to resolve some of the area lights not, colliding with stuff, but also the light dark going through all the walls, going in underground and everything, not being able to build
mm-hmm.
an area that has darkness to it. I'm sure they don't want that to be a permanent thing. I'm sure they want the idea of somebody being able to have a build submerged in full darkness just by covering it with a one voxel thick layer.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's going back to what you were talking about, like with the Doom. That's something I'm considering strongly here. Is and this really came to fruition with the H1Z1 sign. When I first made it, I had it over here, like it was sticking up right about here. Mm-hmm. And it rendered well. I mean, you could read it from the base. It looked okay. But over here, where it's at, which I think is a better place for it, the downside is that when you're looking out the windows, it doesn't render right. And so, that kind of ruins part of the immersion when the game has to render or it looks ugly from a distance. So, in the city itself, once I start working on the city part. Another reason for those, the 90 degrees, the streets going 90 degrees and turning and not just having one long avenue, is that I want basically close distances so that everything is rendered every time you go somewhere. I don't want people to have to see things rendering. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. I keep pressing that numpad 4 button. I don't know why. You probably hear it every now and then. No, that absolutely makes sense. Definitely reducing the amount of distance between things to reduce the amount that LOD takes effect, because mm-hmm. admittedly, because it's a voxel world and it has to render everything at all ranges and account for everything, it loses a lot of the LOD fidelity that you would see in a standalone game where everything's already been generated. Because those, it's just going to de-res something that's more or less a texture that's been built into the game versus this. This is voxels. It doesn't see this, and it's like, okay, I recognize the letters H, 1, Z, and 1 again, and I'm going to do what I can to preserve those. And we don't really have any features to take an area and basically do like a snapshot for lower resolution. So as people get further out, we can say, make it still look like this as far away as they get. Things have gotten better with LOD, but it's still something that is probably going to need a lot of work. There's a lot of times where I can't take a full screenshot of a build because parts of it are starting to revert to the rough texture that you use behind the walls or whatever, the dirt or stone or whatever, and it just basically falls apart on the camera.
Well, that's how this one is. Come back to the let's go to the second floor, or we'll go to the third floor. But one thing I like about this build
I
so
can even
far,
see from here the H1Z.
Okay, yeah.
The chunks are getting cut off. I wonder if there's something they could do that while you're on a claim, it has better LOD considerations than everything off the claim. That would be a nice optimization if they could do it.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, I think, they talked about, I always call it baking, but what do you call it?
Baking's a good word.
Yeah, basically there's just a point where we need to bake stuff in, I don't know if it needs to go to mesh or not do mesh. I don't understand all that, but whatever they need to do to make it, render properly, knowing that you're not going to mess with it anymore,
Yeah.
But, yeah, I can't wait for the shadow stuff, man, to get the light to work right. Because sometimes you see some, like even right now, looking at the window, you can see the sun coming through, and it's catching those spiky things I've got up there.
Yeah.
And stuff like that looks great. I mean, it's and you can see the reflection on the sign or the shadow. And the stuff like that is nice. They just need to dial it in a little bit more,
Yeah.
So, but this thing, it's man, this is taking a hell of a lot longer than I thought. So that's why I'm going to give myself like a few months to flesh it out.
It's a hell of a project.
Well, the thing is you know how I like to build. Everything needs to have it needs to be done. I may not decorate the inside of the apartments, but I'm definitely going to put in the fixtures, the toilet, the shower, all that stuff, because I considered allowing certain people to have a space here that they can decorate themselves and call it that's their place. I've already got people that are trying to get dibs on the top floor here. To have the penthouse versus a little efficiency. But
tell them devs only.
But this is just one building, so I mean, I'm going to have more buildings, with different styles that are going to look different, maybe even a larger space. This building was meant to be more of a, this might be the luxury pad on top, but it's still in kind of a crappy building. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Well, with the rusty walls like this, yeah, it's
Yeah, and I'm going to try to do something to reduce some of the rust that I'm using on here, because I'm using it left and right. But but yeah, I want this to be like it's just kind of old and beat up, and something I need a ton of, man. And this is where I may run into some serious performance issues. Is I set up 4 or 5 fog slash fog emitters, whatever, all the mist emitters. I set up like 5 of those,
yeah,
and 5 of the different raindrop and rain drip emitters, trying to get some rain. And it didn't seem to kill performance any with the 10 that I had, 10 or 11 I had set up, but it didn't also seem to increase the effect or the idea much of rain or thunderclouds or dark clouds. But I think if I use enough emitters packed together and kind of spread out, I can definitely get a cloud layer, no question.
Yeah.
I feel really confident in that. But getting the feel of rain coming down, I think that's going to be damn near impossible.
It's probably going to be taking a bunch of the waterfall emitters and just scaling them up and putting them as high as you can.
Yeah, they're just they're just too much water though. That would be like a typhoon downpour, man.
Well, have it on a switch every now and then. It's like, you need to get inside. Release the flood.
So,
You know, it's the future. You got a weather dominator.
yeah. So I'm trying to figure out now though what I'm going to do about that sign. I don't know if I should move it or because I essentially need something in between. I thought about creating maybe like a floating city or something, or a floating portion of the city to go in between.
Oh, I could see it. Well, if you're going to do it floating, then you could just have it on a couple of those little propeller stands just hanging out right about here. Like you'd see in like Futurama or something. If they gave us the features for it later to turn it into a mesh and then having it spin in place.
Oh, that'd be really cool. No, but I'm thinking of the part of the city actually floating. Except I think that might be too high tech.
Maybe that'd be expensive.
Yeah.
I see. I like the spikes, the shadows from them kind of touching down over here.
Yeah, I get some really cool effects with the building at certain times, especially onto the sign.
I wonder if you take the H1Z1 sign as you have it and just build the entire thickness of the sign with it, when it goes to the lower level of detail, won't it still have that look?
You mean versus the white wall behind it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's worth a try. By the way, I originally used red plastic, I believe, for the Z. It looked a lot better. It was more accurate to the color. However, there's not a single material in game that blends with plastic.
Not even other
And
plastic, huh?
No, and you can see where I bled out the sides to soften it up.
Did you try raw lumicite or raw rubicite rather, or whatever the equivalent would be?
Christia, what the hell's Christia?
That's a. They used to be the plant you need to have an extract for to make the dynamite, I believe.
Yeah, but it's saying I've got Christia blocks in there. I don't know where where the hell would I have those? I don't remember using that as a material to build with this with.
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't even let me look through my own materials now. I'm wondering.
Yeah, it says insufficient Christia block, amount available 933, amount needed 1043. But I mean, this is that's stone. This is dirt. That is white, like stucco or something. Oh, it's the cloth, the red cloth. That's what it is.
Ew. That takes
Yeah.
plant?
Yep.
That's dumb.
Well, I mean, cotton is a plant.
Yeah, but we have refined materials. I didn't know they were blocks that just use straight plant. That's weird.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway,
I
I'll have to
figured
play with it later on. But yeah.
all cloth should be made from plant fiber as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I sent a tweet today to Dave, Jeff, and Rosie because Diggs was hitting me up on the forums talking about how they're gonna I guess Colossus Group is gonna be making some simple starter templates for new people when the game goes open. For simple stuff to build, and basically put some things out in the world so that Oh, Marin. I only need like 110, but it's okay. I'm not gonna worry about it. Thank you though. Um, but no. So anyway, I sent a tweet out hoping or asking and hoping that they can give us some concrete textures that we make with dirt or stone.
Yes.
Because concrete, yeah, we need concrete badly, in my opinion, for modern and sci-fi builds, and in some cases, even some fantasy stuff. You know, going back to what you were saying earlier, I mean, concrete was developed back in the Egyptian days, so I mean, as far as Earth goes, it's been around a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
Damn. So backing it 2 times over didn't seem like it. No, you didn't. It's still.
no, I didn't because I didn't have the stuff. Here, I'll just do it on
Alright.
this section here. I'll just do it on the one because this is the one that's kicking
Yeah,
out.
that's the one that keeps breaking. Those dang chunks.
But in a way, I kind of like it because it looks like an old torn up, like the paper's coming off.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, in chat here, Dr. Omega, it's as many as 2 roots and 8 attachments on those roots. So you can do a 3x3. You can do all sorts of different arrangements, and you can increase the duration that you can pay for your upkeep as you do it for longer. So there's a lot of nice benefits. They've added more to the system. You know, that section that you've done with the one, now it actually translates from this distance.
It does. Oh snap!
There you go. So that's,
Okay,
that's basically
so
what it
that's
is.
yeah. Okay, so well, yeah. I got to rethink the back of my sign because even the back has got details in between. But no, that's good to know though. Let me undo it.
I'm wondering if you could just use paint a sheet of flat voxels of a different color on the back so it has the least impact in the area.
Well, that was 3 deep.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I added 2. Yes, I added 2 more to it. But yeah, I'll try that. I'll just try one and yeah, try some flat voxels. But even then, they're still going to interact with things that I've got there. But that's no big issue. I mean, that's the backside of 2 signs. So, if I have to close the sides off, I mean, it doesn't have to be like normal world anyway. Hey, I just want to throw a quick shout out to Murrin. Thank you. Murrin did send the stuff anyway, even though I said he didn't have to. So that's very, very kind of you.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I'm enjoying this build though. I mean, I like the sci-fi and I love spaceships, but it's kind of fun. This is my first building to ever make. So what we're standing on, well, what you're standing on, I'm floating, but this is the first building I've ever made. So I've got a lot to learn, and whatever, just a lot to learn. But it's fun in the growing process, and and then hopefully I can get this thing to feel, like the I guess the feeling I'm going for, of the emotion I'm trying to convey.
Well, it's not only that, it's also the efficiency and performance, and I think the two will go hand in hand. Like, when I think of the urban sprawl as represented even in, like, Shadowrun, that's not even getting into the higher tech and sci-fi sort of cyberpunk. Even then, just large buildings butted up on large buildings everywhere throughout the city. Massive, 20-something story, mega corporation offices throughout the city, more than one in each city even. Whether that was that they built them on their own or just through mergers and acquisitions, that how it happened. And, extrapolate that to the future. We still have the same amount of land mass to work with, but there's even more people because, longevity and everything has been improved upon with, better medical technology and cyberware and other things. Like, you can get all of your organs freaking replaced and live 1,000 years. The only thing that might degrade is parts of your brain, but you can get those digitized.
That's what I want to do. I mean, it makes sense.
So that's kind of what I think of is that, yeah, there's gonna be But at the same time, the longer somebody's alive, if they're continuing to make money and do better and such, they're not going to live in this place. They're not going to
No.
live here unless they're specifically living in proximity because they want to run it, because they want to have their hands on all of the dirty business going on.
Yeah.
You know, their cyber black market or whatever going on. They're like, yes, I am the kingpin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know this. This is going to be fun. You know, it's God. On one hand, you want it to be done because you want to see it, but on the other hand, it's so much fun building it. You know, you're kind of torn with yourself.
Well, by the time you've actually finished building out the structure and the detail, that should be about the time that, well, on one hand, that should be about the time that we've got the creation tools to actually make content and make, like, real deal, you know, missions and stuff to do in here.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, at some point, you're going to need to, like, template everything up, get everything all ready, because you're going to have the wipe happen. We're going to have that wipe happen at some point, and then it's going to be like, how many months of everybody working to help you get the resources back to be able to build back? Maybe not that long. And actually, if you drop station cache, you'll probably be able to get a lot further a lot quicker.
Yeah, I just I've been looking at that, but I'm going to have to drop a few $100s to get the amount of ore that I've put into these. Easy.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean I had to rip the juggernaut down because I needed iron. I've already got 300,000 iron into this build, and the core is dirt. You know, it's pretty much just iron. Yeah. So, but and the ship was 280,000 iron, and I'm down to 230 already, and that was just a few days ago that I did that. So it's 500 station cash, or 499 station cash for 35,000 iron.
Ooh.
So $5 for 35,000 iron. So that's what, $20 to build the juggernaut.
Damn. That's
you know, and when you multiply this times 9 or times 8 for all the area, I mean, it's and that's just iron.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of those things that people will probably be able to help out with, especially because iron's not going to be as tough to get as some of the other materials. So there might be people that all they do is collect iron because they know a bunch of people are going to really want it.
Well, what I'm hoping, I don't know what's going to happen when they bring back the old caves, but everything that I have, I farmed on my own, and I have no problem doing that. I mean, I actually liked farming iron in the old caves. It was like when you kind of get tired and you don't want to build and you just want to relax, I would just go farm iron at my favorite little caves, and I enjoyed doing it. You put on some music and just kind of veg out for a while. But the current cave system, it's so inefficient to do that that I don't find it, frankly, as fun. It's not as engaging for me. I like the old caves better myself. I mean, the monsters are okay and stuff, but it's just the amount, how hard it is to find the ore,
Yeah.
And I did some digging last week. I went and farmed iron for 45 minutes, and I got about 5,000, 50, maybe 5,200. And just for kicks and giggles, I thought, I'm going to go prospect dirt for 45 minutes and then sift it and see how much iron I get. And I only got 1,200 less.
And you got a bunch of other stuff too, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the point that farming dirt and sifting is more efficient than actually going out and seeing the world and farming, that tells me that the farm rates or that the nodes, the amount that you can get is too low. Yeah, this is CleanerBot 13. And actually, one of the things I'm going to do in here is one of the rooms is going to be a row of maybe like 13 of these guys. Well, 12 of them and 13 over here. But in broken states and off states, in being repaired on a table state. Nice. But I'm basically gonna so it's gonna be and then There's another. Have you ever been here before to this claim?
Not to this. Oh, there's a button on the back.
Yeah, it turns off. It turns off his. Unfortunately, I can't make them fall, but
Right.
um, this is going to connect eventually to this, which we haven't seen yet. Now, this is a
Yeah.
little tricky. The entrance behind the waterfall, but there's a rock, and see
I
when it's down on this
remember.
rock. Okay.
So D-Man was saying he's got pets. Yay!
Oh, I've got some biological pets in the water. Where'd you go?
I kept
Okay.
getting the controls reversing on me.
Now I'm stuck out here. This is a terrible entrance.
Well, it's not terrible. It's that they, in the recent updates, messed up some of the stuff. So sometimes you'll go in reverse directions when you don't mean to.
Oh, okay. But so that upstairs area, I'm trying to remember where it's roughly above, but it links to one of these. I think it's like maybe right over here. I don't know, but I can make a tunnel and have an elevator or a transporter that will link that upstairs one down here.
Nice.
And then down here I've got a lot more flexibility. But when I initially started doing this, the cyberpunk thing wasn't in my mind. So now I'm trying to think, how am I going to build this into cyberpunk? You know, or is this just going to be something we don't know about? This is just like an underground tunnel system, sewers. Do I turn it into sewers? You know, do I turn it into a high-tech sewer? You know, hollow this out and put some water in here all throughout.
Actually, what I think of now that I see this is in the future, there's still going to be doomsayers. There's still going to be people trying to prepare for the end of days.
Okay.
So, you know, to that extent, I could see them having a much larger, almost like a Fallout style vault that, you know, is fully built up, you know, preparing for the worst, but it's never going to get used. So parts of it are starting to get rusty and, you know, here and there, some of the supply cabinets have been vandalized because somebody was hungry and they came down here. You know, that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's what we need, man. We need rat emitters that make little rats running around.
Well, for right now, we've got, you know, bugs and butterflies from the plants. You could actually have, you know, bugs just kind of floating around right here by putting a plant underneath.
Yeah, the animation on plants scare me. I had a cave that that I had painted and had grass on the walls, and it was really cool. And I had, man, dude, I must have had 400 light plants in there, and the performance was so bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet.
And that was my building area. That was like where I would go to build stuff, and I could never get anything done because the performance was just terrible, and I didn't know why. You know, I didn't know that all the lights and the bugs and all that stuff were killing it. You know, it was beautiful, but yeah, it was so that kind of that scares me.
Just having one of those plants with the bugs, scaling it up as high as you can, because then it'll disperse the bugs over as large an area as possible. That actually covers a big area. It's like I feel like at least a 20 by 20 by 20, if not larger volume, that they'll kind of encompass.
I just got the moving bug thing. So over here, this is I've got a few of these guys in the water, but this is what I call a ruophase. And what that is it's a play on the word four eyes.
Nice.
I wear glasses, so I mean I can say that. But he's got four little eyes, and yeah, this one doesn't like to be out of the water. And you get too close to him, he spits some stuff at you.
That reminds me of Floyd. Do you remember Floyd?
From what movie?
It was one of the I can't remember which landmark person made it. Basically, this puddle-looking thing with a face on it. And there were various versions. There was even an Omid version at some point.
Oh, okay.
Someone remembers. Was that Baby Cannon? Was that? I think that was Baby Cannon actually, who had Floyd. But yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Just the way the character is kind of designed. That's really cool. I like that a lot. So you've got a few of those around, you said.
Yeah, they're in the water. They're just down here chilling and looking for stuff to eat.
Oh, neat.
But they crack me up, that plant with the moving. I just think of little eyes darting back and forth, you know.
It's pretty cool.
And I had a bunch of Halloween pots down here. Everywhere there's a bush, there was a Halloween pot underneath it. But it started to kind of kill performance, and frankly, it looked bad, you know.
Was it Noodle Cat? That might have been. You might be right, Murren. I know it was one of the gals that's been around in the Landmark community for a while. I just couldn't remember who. I was also gonna say, was it Murren? Because I can't remember. Could not remember. I'm sure if you just search hashtag Landmark and Floyd, you'd be able to find it. If anybody's interested in looking. I like what you've done here. These little warning-looking things are pretty cool, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, that was as most of the stuff in my build for people. Can they hear my voice in the stream?
Yeah.
Okay. For people that are watching, most of the stuff in my build when it comes to these funky shapes are just accidents. I don't know how to make this stuff. I just know how to I know.
Lucky.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like these angles on this entire railing. That was a mistake. Now, I know other people know how to do it, but that was a complete mistake. And I was like, oh man, that'll be great. Because I'll tell you what I was trying to do when I made this was Cold Knight has a beautiful railing inside his claim. And this inspired me to build one of my own, which I'd wanted to do for a while, but you know, after seeing his, it really gave me that idea, that urge. So when I started playing with the offsets, he was like, yeah, I use offset voxels and offset micro voxels and this and that. And so I started playing with them to figure out how he built it. And then I got that weird angle. And I was like, oh man, that's totally a railing, you know, a railing support there. And then when I got the rails done, I was like, oh dude, two of these like make a V shape. That's how you build the bottom of, you know, supports and stuff.
There you go.
And it's just kind of dumb accident. So point there is that I encourage people, highly encourage people, to not be afraid of the voxelmancy stuff and just play with it. All it does is take a little time from your build, but some of the results that you get can really take you in a different direction and make something a lot more realistic or more fun, or however you want to look at it, you know.
Or you can be like me and use the line tool to mash some stuff up and make birds and trash can lids. Yeah,
do you still have the birds? I was actually
they're still hanging out.
Very cool. I need to get one of those and put them on top of my H1Z1 sign. Maybe a whole flock.
There you go. Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, I need those birds.
Yep, they're still waiting still. And that area is actually basically unchanged from the last time you were there.
So it's got all those birds just randomly.
It's just got a pile of birds.
Oh man, that's funny.
You still never brought that offset voxel to make the trash can, but I figure you'd want to bring that back too, because it's kind of, you know, at least techie enough looking to belong here.
Yeah, I have one that's similar to that. I have two actually that are similar to that. And actually, come downstairs. I started to make a trash can, but it's a bit different in design. So go back behind the waterfall. I need to do some of that rock is this.
Nah, it's just you get close.
Well, no,
just
I have to. I have to make it. I have to make it bigger anyway because Dave had tweeted a picture of his grotto and his waterfall and all that, and his entrance, and I was like, man, that completely smokes mine. I was like, I'm gonna have to make mine better. And and he made a joke about that, you know, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna steal your thunder. He's like, no, please do. So I have to make.
This looks like a university right here, like the stairway in some sort of university, or at least a community college.
Yeah, no, this is just a stairway to my little area to work in. So
well, I'm saying in terms of like the context of the build and what you might have in the area.
So here's the trash can that I started with.
There you go.
And so it's got a little flipping lid on it to throw the trash in.
Nice.
And it actually started as this guy right here. This is the original shape. But I couldn't scale that trapdoor small enough. So,
right.
Oh, but you know what will work maybe?
Shutters?
Shutters. Yeah, they get small enough.
The other
And I'll put
thing
one
I
on
could
either
see,
side.
if you're gonna keep on going with this, is putting a metal pipe in the middle so it looks like it's got something that's pivoting on.
Yeah, to attach it. Yeah. But this is just these are all just happy accidents. I mean, every one of these is a happy accident. You know, like this guy over here. I really love this thing. This little cube thing right here.
Oh yeah, I saw that on the outside. I thought that was what you were using for a trash can out there, actually.
Well, that is a trash can slash light slash whatever you want it to be. This is the original mailbox version thing up here.
Just got a follow from Primary Ebb. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, what was it? Where's the?
Or here. This is the original version of the mailbox.
I see.
And then this guy right here. I really like this shape. This is what I use for those
Yeah.
those towers. Yeah.
That's nice. Very industrial.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I'm huge on the industrial. Even my own decor at home, I do have a lot of industrial stuff.
Nice.
Well, there's a guy in Florida that makes industrial furniture on Etsy, and I mean, I've got a stereo cabinet that was $1,000 that would easily, man, if you got this on Restoration Hardware, this thing would easily be $3,000. You know, and because furniture has such a high markup in it, but because he's building it, he gets all the profit. You know, and he's fair with the prices, are nice with them, and
Nice.
so I just like the industrial feel to start with, but and
This is really cool here too. Is like a sewer grate.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like a grate. I just wish there was a way to animate it, which that may come in the future, you know, so I'll hold on to that. But you can see one of these is my light. That's the light shade.
Yeah.
And then these were rockets that I'd made just goofing around. But I don't really like the microvoxel look when they sometimes look like microvoxels, if that makes sense.
Yeah. While I like these, I could see you actually using a pipe in the middle, the long pipe to give it more of that cylindrical and
Yeah.
you know.
And I agree. Man, I use so many props. When I tore down the Juggernaut, I have 99 or 100 slots on my guy. I emptied it out, and I had to go tear that thing down in 4 stages. Because I'd have to come back and empty it. Yeah, there's a lot in it. And so I'm trying to do as much as I can with voxels. But I agree, there's just a point where, you know, this just isn't going to work. I mean, a missile's not going to be square. And if you use it, it starts to have that voxel look. Whereas, like, to me, this doesn't look like the voxel look at all. I think these platforms look great. I'm really happy with these.
The one thing that still looks voxel is the way they
The
kinda,
lattice?
yeah, the weave of them still looks a little. It doesn't quite look welded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and because this thing was made with different like offsets on the top, I couldn't use an offset of this on this side to make them smaller.
Right.
You know, but that's what it took to make this. I mean, so it is what it is. You know. So anyway, this is just my goofy little workshop.
Some awesome stuff. Yeah, I always like to see. So, have you done any more embellishments on the elevator, or is that? Wait, were you the one who had the elevator, or am I thinking of someone else?
Cold Night had an elevator, and Bob
Cold
Dog
Night had the elevator. That's right.
Yeah. I love these stairs, man. I can't wait to use these in something, but they look more contemporary, modern home to me than they do.
Actually, replace that wood with white plastic, and you're good to go.
God, working with these microvoxels, ugh. Well, it's just, you know, when it goes to painting stuff, it's just not as easy because you're using offsets, and I don't remember where the hell half this stuff is. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, okay, I see see where you're getting with that. Good
Yeah,
call.
something that's very neutral but still fully represents. In fact, that's one of the really nice things about having plastic, is that polymers and stuff really make sense for everything from structure to decoration. If you wanted to make like your own Ronald McDonald or Jollibee or whatever mascot that you normally see in real life, the what it would be made out of fiberglass that's been painted over.
Mm-hmm.
So something very similar to that, I could totally see being done in here.
God, you guys are gonna wipe me out of my white plastic, man. That stuff is expensive to make.
Really?
Oh man, plastics are terrible.
Oh.
Well,
Why do they always do that? Why do they always
I don't
introduce
know.
materials and make them super expensive?
I don't know. I mean, I just like I understand gating in video games, but I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me to gate your builders when they're the ones creating content for other people to play.
Yeah, you can only make your things look like this until you've killed 1,000 things and looted
Yeah,
their
no,
corpses. It's
No, no, that doesn't. I mean, I understand that it's a tough cycle in Landmark. It's a tough balance, because you can't just give everybody everything up front, especially if it comes down to economy. But at the same time, you need that stuff to get the builds out.
it is a tough balance because right now there's nothing being given. There's no benefit to being a builder other than that you're making cool looking stuff, and it's kind of this contradicting thing. They want us to make cool stuff, but only people that have the time and the patience to not only learn all of the methods, but to actually go and collect all the materials are the only people who are going to be doing the building. It's the opposite of economy at this point. It's all basically a funnel to, resources towards building. And if you're not a builder, then the amount of materials you need is a scant bit compared to, 1,000,000 iron to make the city, or just make the building with the walls solid, so if somebody bashes one of the walls in, they don't see dirt on the inside.
Yeah, well, that's like when I first started. I mean, the first ship I made was first real build outside of that little cave was the Dreadnought,
Yeah.
which turned into Juggernaut. And I mean, again, there's 280,000 iron in that. And someone was like, "Well, you should use dirt as a core or stone as a core." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've got 200 and something thousand stone in it because it was built as stone and then painted iron." And but I remember someone saying, I think they were giving out ore or whatever, and I'm like, "Well, I could use this much." And they're like, "Man, are you sure? Because 10,000 really is a whole bunch." And I'm like, "No, it's not."
10,000?
No, 10,000. I will wipe that in 10 minutes, man. I'll use that in 10 minutes, and that's painting. That's using.
I'll go through more than 10,000 in a single brush stroke.
Yeah, it just goes away quick. So,
But for crafting 10,000, that'll last you a lifetime. You'll never have to go harvesting again.
no, exactly.
So that's kind of the problem, and I'm hoping that they'll do something where they really balloon out, they really inflate what you get in terms of the building voxels relative to what's harvested in the world. Something where you get like 100 to 1 times the building space if you're basically turning it into a building voxel version versus a crafting viable version. So, you mine 1,000 iron, that's 100,000 building iron, or 1,000 crafting iron. 1,000 crafting iron, that's 10 weapons. 100,000 building iron, that's a third of the Juggernaut. I feel like those are equivalent values for effort for what you're getting out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's when you see people talking all the time on the forums, it's like, well, how is a builder going to work in the economy, and how are they going to trade? And they're like, well, you trade your building skills. Okay, yeah, that's fine and good, except
That's bullshit.
except that, yeah, how long does it take to build something? It's not the same. I mean, if you, I mean, man, if you were to make the Mantis, that took a week. And it's only 45,000 iron and some other stuff, but it still took a week to get to flesh those details out and make it that small little ship.
Yep.
But what are you going to give me in return? I mean, because that's a week of my time, man, and I mean that's probably 40 hours in that easy. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, if
one of the things I'm wondering about is later on, if we're going to be making vehicles and stuff in the world, are we actually consuming resources out of pocket to build it in the world and be able to use it? And when it's damaged or destroyed, do we get any of that back, or is it pretty much lost to us? Because at that rate, sure, Dave Georgeson might be excited that you can fly the Juggernaut around one day, but who's going to pony up the, 500,000 iron and everything else to actually build one and fly it around?
well, I would. I mean, but
Yeah, once. Like, you'd be
Once.
treating that like a fucking a mothership in EVE Online. If that thing
Oh,
gets
man.
destroyed, it's like, all right, back to the drawing board.
yeah. Oh no, if that's the case, then ship number 2, will be Juggernaut with an infinity sign up in the corner, and that will be nothing but guns and engines and one little pilot seat. And when you fire a gun, all of them go off. So
Yeah.
you got everything covered.
Just a wall of doom.
Yeah, I mean it'd be ugly and stupid, but
Hey, well, if you don't want to lose your ship, you gotta.
but if you don't want to lose your
And then the other thing I wonder is, when you log off, does it just stay in the world? Can you reclaim? Can you break down the vehicle relative to the damage it's taken and get everything back? So that's a lot of stuff that I'm wondering about. That's a lot of big time considerations. I really think, though, a value of 100 to 1 for what you harvest versus what you actually get to build with would be really appropriate. And maybe there's a way that you can break it back down later. It could be something that you still have to use ether shards on. I don't know how I feel about that, but
I might. I don't have the negative opinion of ether shards like a lot of the community does, or a lot of people on the forums do. But that's not to say that I'm necessarily happy with them.
the values is really the potential issue.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm a loot cave exploiter. Like if there ever was one,
Yeah. I think we
so
all are.
yeah. So I mean, so it's not like I'm not losing out. I haven't had to actually work for the harvest stuff in that regard, like the copper. All my other metals and stuff, all that stuff was done old school. Old caves, going in and digging for a couple hours.
Yep.
But
I dug up most of the 500,000 obsidian for my Landmarks of Landmark build, back on the edges of where there used to not be ocean, and then eventually there was ocean. So I'd have to grapple through the water plane to get underneath, and then you'd basically have normal physics again at that point. And then I'd be able to just mine to my heart's content still, because you'd be able to see ore splotches on the map from miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I would farm obsidian. I would go into the water just because you can see it. It's easier to see, or the desert.
Holy shit! D-Man said he's already spent $50 in station cash on iron. Damn.
Oh man, but that's where I'm going to be. It's tough. Here's the fact is that we're playing a free-to-play game. I mean, it's not for us because we bought to be in it, but eventually it'll be free to play. And Sony, look, Dave's a nice guy. Terry, I haven't met these people in person, but they all seem really nice, good, genuine people. And they have to make a living like everybody else does. And so if we like the game, it's our duty to put some of our money into Station Cash, and give them some income for the game. That being said, though, if I'm dropping $50 or $100 a month into Station Cash to buy medals, I'll quit playing, because that's what happened with me in Guild Wars. I was dropping $60 to $100 a month to play Guild Wars 2, and I was like, this is ridiculous, man. Wow, it's $15, and I'm getting a lot more for my money, and so I went back to that.
So, I think really the honestly, maybe this is going to be something to really try to push on them about, the idea of, say, 100 ether shards and 100 iron ore get you 10,000 building iron blocks. Does that
sounds
sound
fair.
pretty
Yeah.
reasonable?
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where the amount that people are going to be able to take advantage of it or troll other people using those mechanics is very minimal, except for people building a 5 claim tall tower of crap material because they're claiming that's their their storage space or whatever, which is totally bogus. I really don't see it being any sort of a problem for people to be able to do that. You're not using that material for anything other than building, and it means that the amount of effort you need to be able to get the access to materials for building versus access to materials for crafting or anything else, it's a lot more comparable rather than all the effort and you don't really get that much out of it, and then you have to go back and harvest again. And that's actually ever since I would say the landmarks of Landmark on, that was when me and a lot of other people became just how aware of the problem of trying to build with constraints is that you get an idea, you're working on something, it's going great, and then it's like, well, crap, I've ran out of not only the material that I need, but basically anything I'd even use as a representative for it. I have to go back out and harvest more materials just to continue being creative. That's never a good situation for any game.
No, well, especially, you know how creativity works. I mean, sometimes you're working on something and you're like, oh, and you have a brain. I mean, it's a brain fart or a explosion, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is what this needs. This is, bam, just a perfect idea hit, and you start working on it. And if anything that sidetracks you from that can really take you away from it. And sometimes those things never come to fruition because, like you said, you had to go out and farm, or you had to go, it could be dinner. There's just sometimes, for myself, I get sidetracked enough and I'll never go back to it.
Gotcha.
Even though it's a great idea, but especially if the deterrent is something that I have to work for. If I have to go back out in the world and work, then that's how you look at harvesting. I mean, if I have to go out and work for it, to put this thing up, knowing that the reason for the build is for other people to enjoy, then it feels like I'm being punished kind of on two ends almost, So, yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't like running out. I mean, with the old cave system, I will say this much. With the old cave system, I had no problem when I ran out, going out and gathering some really quick. My claim was close to a cave. And just by dumb chance, I didn't know it when I first started the game. I just went and found a cool looking spot. But, but I go to that cave and I was on tier 1 and I just go get my iron, and I was happy with that. But now, if I have to go out, it's really not fun for me. I'm not a big fan of the new caves. It's the metal or the ore is just too far apart and too sparse. Versus the old system.
It is.
And maybe the old system was too much. Maybe it was too easy to get.
We
but
got half of the new system as far as I'm concerned. There were two things that we were supposed to get with the caverns. One is the depth and distribution of everything going all the way down, but the other was that they were supposed to greatly increase the length of the veins, of the ore veins. And the justification for that is that when we're out in the world doing something, they don't want us to have to resent when somebody else comes by and wants to do the same thing we're doing and instead becomes in competition with us. So if you find an ore vein and it's going to go for 300 to 500 voxels length, you're not going to be like, screw you. You're not going to run past the person while they're being attacked by something in mid-peril and go harvest the thing past them like people would do in WoW. You'll help them out, and you'll both attack the vein together, and you'll help each other find the next vein because there's more than enough for even 20 people to be harvesting on it.
Yeah.
That's the part that's missing for me.
Okay.
And we lost the surface caves too. Exactly, Kilryu.
We lost the what?
The surface caves.
Oh, the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's and I think that's part of it for me is is that when you're in a cave, the sense of up and down. I mean, there's obviously the sense still there, but where you're positioned at in the world gets kind of lost. And so you go to tier 3 to get some iron, and the next thing you know, you're in tier 2, and you're like, well, what the hell? Now I got to go back down again. Or you get down to tier 4 and you find some iron there, and then the next thing you know, you're in tier 5. You're like, well, damn, I got to go back up now. And it's just I like the old system because only in that I like to know I could go here to get this, or I could go there to get this, and I was guaranteed to find it. And I think that guarantee did a lot for me. I didn't mind if I had to work for it because I knew it was worth working for. My problem with the caves now is that because you don't have as much ore in the world now, it's all based on just that cave area. If someone else is in there right before you, cleaning up, you're not going to know it.
Yep.
You're not going to know it, and you're going to go digging at it, and then 45 minutes later, you're like, man, I have nothing to show for. And that's why, and that's what happened to me, and that's why I said, you know what, screw this. Next time, I'm just going to dig a hole under my claim and just keep on digging. And that's what I did, and I wanted to see if I could get the same results. And like I said before, man, 1,200 less iron, and I got a ton more of other stuff. I'll do it every time. It was just a more efficient system for me. But if I know that I can go to it, I like the tiers. I don't know. I liked the tiered islands. If I could go to a tier 1 and get the stuff that I like, then I was happy with that. So I don't know. I'm kind of hoping we see. I know that the old caves are coming back. I'm not sure how they're coming back or in what form as far as ore goes.
I think it's just the surface entrances is the only thing that is coming back that we didn't have before. I'm pretty sure otherwise the cave system that we have now is what it's going to be.
So we're not going to... yes, I don't like that.
I still think if they just made the veins much longer like they said they were initially, it'd make things a lot better. Though I think there should probably also be different rates and redistributions of enemies and other things that, if you are the second person coming through an area in 5 minutes, there isn't absolutely nothing. Or if there is, if everything has been looted and stuff ahead of you, there's some indication of it. There's, severed plants, maybe, there wouldn't be dead bodies of creatures around. Maybe there would be. Or little gravesite markers or whatever for things that have been killed in the area. Or who knows, maybe it'd be more like a tracking skill that you use, that kind of like the sounders we have, it would kind of do a little ping out, or like a little overlay of where there have been battles and where stuff's been harvested in the past little bit. Anywhere as much definition as an hour, stuff that was done recently will be towards the green end of the spectrum. Stuff that was done as long as an hour ago will be towards the red end of the spectrum. So you know how long ago somebody did just come through. Yeah, and that may be the answer, But I don't know. I mean, I did like the old system. I mean, I had fun doing it, and that's, I'm a simple person, and for me, that's all it comes down to, is which one was more fun for me, and I liked that one better. I mean, I was more apt to engage myself in it, whereas now, if I have to go, now I don't even travel to other islands. I just go to the spire here and hit this one. I don't even, whereas I used to be hopping all over the place. I used to go farming this one and go farming that one. I'd be all over the place. And now it's like, I'm just going to go to the spire and go see if I can find some stuff. And then if I don't, I get discouraged and I come back and log out and go watch something on Netflix. That didn't happen before. Before it was like, okay, well, I need some iron. I'm going to go shoot down, and boom, there's some iron, and happy, and I'm digging my iron, and oh man, there's some obsidian or something else, or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? And pick that up, and another vein of iron. I'm happy again, and I just liked it. Yeah. It was a lot more satisfying. It was a lot more direct. It feels like so much more of a struggle. Like, I wonder if they thought, well, great, now that they've got the sounding tools that they can find the stuff through the walls, we can lower the distribution of them because you actually have to find them now.
Yeah, see, but that's where I mean, I don't know.
I
To me, to me, having to find it isn't fun in and of itself. And maybe it's just me, but I'm looking at this stuff as I just need this to go build.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you know what I mean? I'm just doing this because people like spaceships, people like cool stuff, and I want to make some cool stuff. And I want people, I had some people from Brazil come by last night or 2 days ago or something like that, just random, and um, they were really happy to see the stuff. And I mean, I want people to be happy and be engaged because that brings more people to the game, and I like it, and I want to see it succeed. But in order to do that, I need to build. And in order to build, I have to get the ore. And if it's a chore, or if it's something I have to go out of my way to get, then, I mean, in a way that I feel is negative, then I'm less apt to do it. And which means I might someday be less apt to build, which means there's not going to be people coming to the claim.
absolutely.
You know,
And that
you know,
because there's no benefit, we aren't given any bonus or anything for people visiting our claim and giving us likes. That's another reason why the whole, feedback loop of being a builder versus not being a builder still isn't quite complete.
yeah. I just noticed this is completely random, but the suit that you're wearing looks like your gorilla, or whatever that is, your icon, your logo.
Yeah, it's the Vonu colors is what I use for that, and this is quite the same color set. It's actually kind of funny. The game I work on, My Dream, actually uses teal and purple for most of its color sets. It's like, oh great, oh, I feel quite at home. I didn't realize that until I was starting to work on recoloring some of the forums and some of the other stuff. It's like, oh, okay. So eventually,
So what are you looking at right there? It looks like your head's through the roof. Are you clipping or?
No, I'm just I can see the top of the ceiling and then the rest of the room.
Oh,
So
okay.
nothing's cutting through anything. Yeah. Cool.
But anyway, so I don't know, but I'm excited for the future and what's going to come. The next version of linking and triggering, or the next stage when we get conditionals and what that's going to do. I mean, people have already done some amazing stuff just this first go around.
Yeah.
The textures, I mean, the plastics are extremely welcome. Very happy with the plastics. I think what's going to really take it over the top, though, is the prop maker, or whatever, the player prop machine, whatever you want to call it. If we can make a large voxel structure and then scale it down into mesh to give it fine details, oh man. Especially if we can attach animations and emitters to it. From what I
Yeah.
understand, we're going to be able to do that. That's going to be crazy.
Absolutely. Okay, I just realized one other detail you can do over these. If you want to have some that aren't lumicite but kind of have some shine to them, just doing a flat voxel overlay of glass on them, and then you can even have light shining
Oh,
on
yeah. I actually got this weird thing over here. Check this thing out. This is like another happy mistake.
that. Happy little accident.
Yeah. This is a flat voxel inside of a flat voxel.
Nice.
So the glass is one voxel, and then the color is the other one. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's really cool. Because it uses both of them. I think the volumetric aspect of the glass and the kind of relatively flat look of the lumicite is why we don't see any conflict there, why it looks so good.
So haven't found any purposes for it, but
Well, like I said, just if you could do something like that, but shape it for the, the letters. Or actually, I could see this being the backing for some sort of a billboard or some sort of a sign that's orange. It almost gives it a.
this is the side that I want to put the water on. This is the color side. The other side is the glass
I
side.
gotcha. Oh, and you can make. Oh, that's an awesome glitchy screen. Hell yes. You can make setting. You've got to give that to Zek. I'm sure she would love to put that up on some of the screens.
You like the glitchy screen? I can't stand that.
Oh no, it's awesome because she's got that evil computer console thing going on.
Yeah.
So okay, while we're here, shine a light through it.
What side? What color?
Get any color spotlight. We'll try both sides. One then the other.
Hey, where are we at? We're in claim number 5. Just giving you permission to make it easy.
So this adds another that adds more static and noise to it. If you actually add a few lights at a few different angles, I bet it's going to make it look even more weird and fucked up.
Let's see, neurotoxin, no access visitor, boot from claim. There we go.
They haven't
you
put
gotta build
that
it.
one in yet.
No, you've got builder permissions. Do you? Is it giving you?
It's not letting me access it.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh yeah, D-Man, you're also somebody that would use something like this. Yeah, it's just a flat and a flat overlapping each other. That is actually a really, really neat way to do stuff.
That's weird, man. It says you're in 5. They need to nail that stuff down, man. Maybe I have 2 5s. That's where I screwed up last time.
Yeah, I've had that happen before.
No, this is the only 5.
Or maybe I just need to exit and come back in. No? Oh well. No, Primary, this is not a large emitter or an enlarged emitter. This is the flat glass and flat water actually interconnected with one another. They're a flat offset and another flat offset that are completely interspersed, and this is the result. So this
Here,
looks really cool.
let me pull them off. Let me pull them off so they can see.
From the other side, you don't really see. Okay, actually,
So that's one side of it.
you see a little bit of the other side also getting jaggedy on the left here.
And this is the other side.
That's neat. So it's just putting those two together. So now, what's it look
Sorry.
like? Wait, is the light still on?
It is now.
Okay. What's it look like from the other side then?
The light?
Yeah, putting the light on the other side.
Oh.
And shining it through. Because it has the the different sides to it, and I wonder
Yeah.
what kind of different effect it might have.
A cold night, you're funny. I guess he's watching your stream. He just sent me a... Oh, this is weird. Okay, Bob Dobb had showed me something like this a while back, and I'm getting the same effect. Look at the reflection of the spotlight in the glass as you move.
Reflection of the spot.
A cold night, if you're listening, I'd much prefer the cyberpunk sci-fi guy. Well, and here's the going joke, is that he's always like, I'm like, I have to build something. I need to build something. Okay, first of all, to prove to myself that I can make something other than the Juggernaut, I need to do that. And that was part of the reason I made the Mantis. I wanted to see if I could build something on a smaller scale, a different style, to prove that I can build this stuff. Because I may have just had dumb luck with the Juggernaut, and that will be the coolest thing I ever do, ever. Mm-hmm. And so I told him, I'm like, I don't want to... I don't want to be known as a Juggernaut guy. And he's like, you're the Juggernaut guy. And he just said that someone had referred to me as the sci-fi cyberpunk guy, so yeah. I like that more.
I gotcha. Well, here, look at it from the other side. As it flickers, you can see the light kind of come through and not come through. That's really, really cool.
Well, here, let me put a light on this side, and but something when I was playing earlier with the orange light. Actually, I played. The blue light with a white light makes a beautiful teal color.
Ooh.
Beautiful, yeah, a beautiful teal color. I'm getting all nerdy on colors here and lights, but but I was checking the FPS on it, and I don't think my FPS dropped at all when I completely overlapped them perfectly on the cones. So I don't know.
Okay. So what's cool is now it's solid on this side, for the most part, but on the other side it's still got the full glitch factor, and because there's the lights on both sides, you can kind of see through it a bit.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, exactly. Etherboard broken screen panel effect. I'm gonna send a picture to Zek.
But I don't even know. I don't know if this is two flat voxels. It can't be two flat voxels put together because it would. I think. Well, no, maybe it is.
It is.
I don't. Yeah, I guess it's just two flat voxels put together. So shouldn't be anything. Let me go grab another one that's not from. Because when I made that, there was some weird stuff going on, and it wasn't my normal flat voxel.
Kick Licks Land on Twitter.
Yes. But my inspiration for doing that flat voxel thing was Cold Night has a two-way mirror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I was goofing around with that in mind. I was like, I wonder if I do this and I do this, and I got that weird thing.
Yeah,
so
if you put a just a flat like paint sort one up on the other, where they're not fully intersecting, that definitely gives a two-way mirror. But these appear to be absolutely fully intersecting here. It's pretty cool.
So this is just a normal flat voxel. I mean, and the other ones could be completely normal. I'm just not sure, but this one is. And let's put this one on this side.
Smells like pizza. Might need to investigate.
I support that.
I'll be back in a second.
So we know what takes him away from the computer. Pizza. I can't see stream because I'm in game, but it'd be nice if we had his address and we could send him a truckload of pizza. Oh man, they got some really glitchy things on this one.
I was right.
Cold Night was just telling me that there used to be a command in EverQuest called /pizza that you could order pizza from your local Pizza Hut. That's funny. So here's the two flat voxels put together and painted, and they're doing some extra weird stuff.
Oh hell yeah, they are. That's awesome. It almost looks like part of the Twitch logo upside down.
Yeah, it does. But anyway, you were about to say about your pizza.
Yeah, it's what was I gonna say about the pizza? Well, I mean, at this point, it needs to go back in the oven with some extra Parmesan on it. That was the second time recently that I didn't know that there was a pizza that came in, but it came through. But yeah, this one here, that's another awesome broken screen.
Now this one looks different though. I mean, this looks the same as this one, but it's just weird that these two are completely different. I mean, meaning the new one and this old one.
Huh, yeah.
Because the copy on this one and putting it in a different direction gave it the exact same look. And I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I want to try something. This is going to sound weird. Let's leave, go completely out of the building, come all the way back, and see if that does anything weird.
Well, something else we can do is I'll paint them orange again, because last time, you see that? I mind controlled the door.
Yeah. No, I see the areas down there. Unfortunately, we don't fully hide those yet.
So let's go to this, see this rock over here on the side?
Mm-hmm.
Let's float to this one. This is another piece of my land that I want to build on. It only has a single claim on it, but kind of need to get the other one done first. God, I just really need like 50 by 50 claims, and I'd be happy. Look at that look at this beautiful little island. I mean, this little water thing here.
It's pretty nice.
This is like the coolest.
It's actually one of those things when oceans came in, a lot of people scoured and found a ton of nice little places like this. But over time, people stopped building with them. They realized, well, it's still a hell of a haul to get out to it, and I don't really want to do that, and various other things. So a lot of them went away over the year, but over this past however many months since water was in. But a lot of people, I think, are going to start hitting them back up again once there's really enough cool stuff to be able to actually make a dock that you can send ships out to sail from.
Oh man, yeah. If we could get floating ships and submarines, now that might actually make me happy. I want to do spaceships, but I know a space biome and all that stuff is really, it's so far off. It's really just in someone's head. It's probably not ever going to happen for all we know. But submarines, kind of close to that, So it'd be cool to make a submarine. I could do a submarine all day long. I'd be happy.
A space build isn't unreasonable. It's just you have to have everybody who's working on the space biomes together do the Porco trick or whatever to build up dirt all the way up, and then you claim the space off of the top of that, or however he does it, and just have everything up in the sky. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, I was really hoping that we could get, and we'd already discussed this, but or maybe it was Diggs, but
no, it was on the show.
Okay, but yeah, where we could get like a moon. Yeah, it was the moon or an asteroid biome. If we can't have space physics, at least just give us a land that looks like an asteroid or the moon. That would go a long ways, and you could make that a permanent dark biome.
Yeah.
And that would go a long way for sci-fi people.
Right now, there isn't really a falling off the edge of the world or, falling down a hole into your doom or anything. So
no, but I think that again, my solution last time, same thing. I think you could just have like a matte painting in a way, where there's just a point where you can't go any farther, but it looks like a big pit or something. Do something creative.
Yeah, Cold Night, I remember when water came in and it was just Jesus mode, and we had to use the grappler if we wanted to get through the water. So they still retained all of their functionality. They didn't break from us leaving and coming back, so that's neat.
So let me paint this one orange, and then I'll paint the other one orange, because we knew in the orange looked like it was encased in glass, or to me it looks like it's encased in ice. Yeah, See, to me, it looked like it was encased in ice, and I was like, man, if I could pull that off somehow,
I mean, you could use ice instead of glass, too. The transparent ice.
We'll have to see if that works. I don't remember which side is which here, but... Oh, interesting. My paint icon went away.
Accidentally dragged it off?
No, it just disappeared.
I call shenanigans.
Okay, it's doing the same thing, so that's good. So it is just two flat voxels from the opposite sides put together, so anybody can make that good.
Cool. Some broken glitchy screens.
And no, it's not shenanigans. It was a bug. I don't make mistakes.
I have this weird idea in my head. If
That's
you
weird. That was
go back to the glitchy version and do like a master key type cut across. Well, here actually, you've got me build permissions. I should. No, I can't do it yet. Build's
That's
not
weird.
working. Basically,
oh, it says 6 here. Let me
Oh.
put you on 6. Well, that one over there. I think we're on the border. Is why.
that's what it is.
Oh, what the hell? I
Nice
could've typed them
grapple.
like that. Yeah.
That looks really funny on my end.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know I was doing that. I had my screen up trying to give you permissions. Hold on, don't move. I'm gonna fire up Twitch to see what it looks like.
All right.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's just a little funny.
Especially when, like, just now he it almost looked like he made it. You know, he got past it and then
And
it
then-
sucked him back up.
Then gets pulled back.
Yeah.
Super. No, I don't know. I think Remio, this is like Superman when he's just been like pounding mad amounts of
Tourette's.
swizzle from H1Z1. Just like just like
That's
a speed freak going on. Oh man.
Okay, so you have permissions now?
Yeah, I should. Cool.
I mean, you should. So if you don't, I don't know. It's your problem.
Okay, so we want like that.
Got me jonesing for pizza, man. That's wrong.
I'm Justin from Pizza. See what that does. Oh, did that
Just
do
planing it.
It made a little. It moved it down just a hair. You can see.
I wonder. Let me make make my little planing platforms. Let's see. Remo, no, you can come to me. Let's see. You're on friends list. Yeah, you can come to me.
If I do it at the other angle. Actually,
Well, that's jacked up the bottom. Oh, I built this platform too far over this one. Nope.
interestingness. Hey, I thought they said the tweak mode wasn't supposed to jump around all crazy anymore.
It still does.
Well, now it's
It
literally tracking to where I'm standing.
Yeah, it's I've had it do the ludicrous speed, as they call it. It still does that, but on less occasions. But now I get the jumping thing, where you try to get it in the spot and it keeps popping out.
Well, I mean, look at my stream right now. It's actually locked to my UI. As I run around, it follows me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like locked to your dude. I had that same look before, but with the blue arrow. Only one I saw was the blue arrow.
Come on, that's weird. That is the weirdest. That is to me. I'm like, I want to go in and look at the bits and boops going on, like the code in the background, and see like error is just flashing off here and there or something, or like some function didn't manage to pick up properly, and now a position is not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I had earlier when I was working on the first floor, I had an instance where I had the that indicator, that direction indicator, the blue move tool thing. I was in a mode where I was using it, so I had it like right in front of me, but I had another version of it out in my claim, just kind of hanging out, just like sitting out there by itself, like it was a prop. Yeah,
That's
that was
kinda
really
interesting.
weird. Yeah, because it confused me, and so I went ahead and went into a mode where I would tweak it, hoping it would turn it off because it's kind of annoying. And no, it just stayed there. So I logged out and logged in, and that fixed it. So what's going down, Remo?
This is a good question. Well, he's not on Skype here, so you're gonna have to use the in-game.
No, I think he's in. I think he's watching your stream though,
Oh,
isn't
that's
he?
true. He is. Yeah.
Because he had just asked if he could teleport to me, being considerate, or if you and I were just doing our own thing. So either he just knows that you're hanging out on my claim, or
No, I see him in chat here.
yeah,
Oh,
he's like a
man.
mind reader. Let's see, oil today is.
Oh, jeez. I don't want to have to do this, but at the same time, I have to eat. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up here pretty soon.
No issues. I'm
It's
get some
been
food myself.
fun checking this out. Firefly Whisper, welcome, and thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the Neuro Network, and everybody
Hey,
else who joined.
You want to give one of these props away over here? Anybody that wants one of these beautiful? This is my trash pile. Except for the mailbox. I got good use for that.
I think I'm good for now. I think I might be okay for just for the moment. Let's see, who else is playing Landmark? XX Rev, XX. They are spelunking, building, and giveaways. So, I think that would be a fun place to bring this party. So, everybody hanging out here, if you want to continue watching this awesome stuff go on and the glitch screens and everything, you can always find your way to Oil's claim. It's on the gallery. You just search Oil, and you should be able to find it. And if not, if you're looking to continue watching streams but aren't necessarily looking to hop in game, bring the party on over to there, and I'll see you folks over there for a little quick moment before I go and eat some food. So, see y'all later. Thank you very much for coming, and have a good one.